Hey Sarajevo, I'm very glad to be talking to you all, especially Jan and Aldine from Shenzhen, China. That's where I am now, in case you didn't realize I was gone. All my memories of Sarajevo and all the students there are very dear to me. And just a hello to everyone there and all my former students. I think about you guys often, so I hope everything is well. Jan and Aldine, you two are moving on. Congratulations. Aldine, I remember you as an eager, some might say over-eager, secondary one literature student. It was also my writing class. Jan, I remember you coming in as a secondary 3 into American history. It's that group and learning all about American history together. And I'm honored, deeply honored, to have played a small role in each one of your lives. It's customary when students are graduating to impart a bit of wisdom as they go. So you turn to me. I appreciate that. So here it goes. In his commencement address to a bunch of overprivileged Stanford graduate students, Steve Jobs told them, "Do what you love. Find what you love, and do that for the rest of your life." He said that every morning he asked himself if today was the last day of his life, would he want to do what he was going to do or what he was doing that day? When the answer to that question was no too many times, he knew he needed to make a change. As you contemplate your future lives stretching out in front of you, this is really good advice. Do what you love. It sounds trite, but it's deeply important for your future happiness. In 2009, before I came to QSI, I was teaching undergraduates at Capital University in Columbus, Ohio. I was a counselor at a local hospital, and I was also working on my PhD, so I was pretty involved. But I wasn't happy. Now, I didn't know what I was doing, that I wasn't happy at the time, but looking back, I know I was deeply unhappy. I didn't love what I was doing. Yet I had worked so hard to get there, and I felt that I would be a quitter if I did something else, if I made a change. One night, after a particularly hard time helping a family deal with a tremendous tragedy there at the hospital, I found myself in the stairwell of WakeMed Hospital, feeling as low as I ever have in my life. And I spent a lot of time in that stairwell thinking about where I was, my own life. I realized in that stairwell that I needed a change. The next day, I talked with my wife. I talked with my boss. I talked with my friends. I love teaching. I love talking with students about all sorts of things, but I had never really thought of myself as just a teacher. I was juggling lots of things, kind of trying to figure it out in my own life. But I knew one thing, that when I taught, when I was in the classroom, I was happy. And that was enough for me. So that moment, that dark moment, and those conversations helped me decide to try the teacher thing out. I started working on my teacher certification. I applied to QSI. I told my jobs that I needed to take a year off to figure out what I wanted to do, which they amazingly agreed to. Thank you to those guys. And I headed off to Kiev, Ukraine, to see if teaching really did make me happy, to see if I could do it. Turns out it did. And 6 years later, I know I'm doing what makes me happy. The Greek philosopher Aristotle said that the goal of life is happiness. Not mere pleasure, but happiness. Happiness is not one day or a short moment or a short time or just one thing, but rather it's a compendium of all the decisions of your life, all the choices that you make of what you want your life to be. Determining what happiness is for you is the purpose of your life. That's what we're here for. Notice I say you, but happiness for you can't just mean you alone, but it means you as a part of something. A school, a community, a family. You got to figure that out for yourself. For Aristotle, happiness was living a good life of virtue. It could be helping others. It could be being with others and having a career that's with others, that's serving a purpose. It could be making the world a better place by designing a better toilet. If you think about that one, that technology really hasn't changed in a long time. I think it's due for an upgrade, so there you go. If you haven't thought about a career, go be a toilet inventor. This quest for happiness, finding self-happiness, that's what lies in front of you after high school. It's what lies in front of all of us as humans. What does it mean to be happy, and how can we be happy, and what is that for us? So what is your happiness? Real, lasting happiness. Not what makes the most money, though to be fair, you need some of that for happiness. Not what your parents or friends think you should do. For the moment you walk out these doors, you get that high school diploma, you are responsible for your own life, not anyone else. Aristotle went on to say, happiness depends on ourselves. As your life goes on, think about Steve Jobs' question. Are you doing today what makes you happy? If your life ended today, would you be doing exactly what you are doing? Would you be happy with what you are doing? If the answer is no, then you need to make a change. My change was to become a teacher. It helped me find my happiness. It led me to meet people like you all in Sarajevo, like the people in China, like all of my students, like you, Jan and Aldine. I hope for you nothing but true happiness. I hope that you know that your happiness is in your hands. And most of all, I hope that you have a tremendous amount of fun in college and for the rest of your lives trying to figure it all out. I miss all of you guys. Good luck, Jan and Aldine.